What's up, everybody? So this is the Monday virtual sales training call, and excited that you guys are on here. And yeah, guys. So really, I wanted to get Andre on here. For those of you guys that don't know Andre, he's out in the Chicago area, absolutely ripping it, just kicking butt. This month so far, he is at 24,000 in issue paid premium, and I think he might even have some more going in there today. So absolutely rocking, kicking butt, taking names. And he's selling a lot of these policies that he's selling. He's doing it virtually and he's doing it with vertical leads. So, a lot of what we're going to be sharing on here today might be geared toward those leads specifically. Understand if you're working other leads, it's all good. A lot of this stuff is applicable. But these vertical leads, it's kind of we don't need to get into the story behind it, but basically, Andre's been working these for when did you first start working verticals?
That was it was before I moved for sure.
Like
Uh,
January, was it like January, February, March?
it had to be around that time, yeah, because I know we got on them for a couple weeks, and then like you said, yeah, didn't really kind of work out. But yeah, it had to be around that time.
Now we're back at it. And yeah, I mean, we've got a lot of people we got a lot of people having success from these. And so uh here's what I want you to go through, man. And again, we can keep this kind of short and sweet, today, but how many leads a week are you getting? And then like what does your schedule look like? So for those of you guys that don't know, the way the vertical leads work is they're $18 a pop and you have to buy 50 and you have to have 10 states. Those are like the barriers to getting started with this with this lead type. But on the flip side, Andre's at $24,000 in issue paid premium this month. You know what I mean? And Andre, is that mostly from vertical?
Yeah, pretty.
Yeah,
Yeah, there might be one or two in there that aren't, but definitely majority of those for sure.
sweet.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I just want you to, share how it's been for you and, what is it like? What does your schedule look like? We'll get into all this stuff, but as far as I understand it, Andre, you're getting what, 12 leads a week? Or
Or
gosh,
50.
I can't even talk over here, bro. 50 leads a week. Sorry, take it away, dude.
So it's like you said, it's 50 a week and it's not it ends up being like 900 for that. But at the end of the day it all ends up working out. If you're dialing them and really getting after them. I haven't had a negative week yet, and I know those first 2 weeks that we got started with it because this will be I think I sat one week, I sat it out just because they came in a little bit slower. But yeah, since from the get-go, I've been doing well with them. I think the if I so I keep everything in the thing. What's this called?
Activity book.
Activity book. Um, so I think let's see if I go back to the first 2 weeks. I mean, it was quite a bit, and then this will be the third. Like last week, I got one, two, three, 6 apps. I got a 50, 100, 168, a 81, a 77. So yeah, I mean, they've been doing really good for me. So yeah, 50 a week, it's like 900. And then for me, as far as like scheduling goes, even though I do like to think of myself as pretty organized, as far as scheduling goes, I'm not really the most organized on this. And that is just because I feel like the way I approach these calls and the leads is to really just get everything done in one call. Um, everybody's different. Like I know a while back when we were getting everyone started with the virtual, you mentioned, depending on the kind of lead you're talking to, that they might not want to do everything on the first call. If you're talking about something with bigger premiums or IULs and things like that, you might have to break that down into a couple of calls. But for the most part, I feel like these people are pretty open. If you got their attention and you catch them at a good time, there's really no reason you can't take control of the conversation and just move it along and be done with it. Um, so as far as scheduling goes, I mean, I'm waiting on all of them to come in, and I take the leads from the lead bite. I don't know how many people on here actually have tried the vertical leads, but I can kind of show if you want. Do you want me to
Don't
share?
don't show it because it'll flag us for people's personal information.
Okay.
But
Well, so
here's what Andres. I'm sorry, dude. For interrupting. Basically, like, hey, on the thing, like where you get these leads. are you just exporting them to like a CSV and then popping them into a different CRM that you're using?
Yep. So when they come in, like you said, I just export them, and they come in real time. So whenever these people are filling it in, we're putting the order in on Friday. So I know last week we actually had pretty much all of them come Monday. This week not as many, about half or so, but still take them in bulk, send them in, or excuse me, export them, put them into, I'm using the L2C CRM. So that's like, I think it's like 95 a month just for the CRM. If you don't buy leads from them, then it's not free. But I'll upload them into there. And when you upload them as a CSV, you do name, first name, last name, email, phone number, and date of birth. And there's other things on there that you can put, but those are the main, things, because what you're going to do is once you get on the phone with that person, you can go into the where they're originally uploaded, and that's where you get their all that information I just said, but that's where you get like all the favorite vegetable, how much coverage, height, weight, beneficiary, smoker, non-smoker, are they diabetic, and so on. That's where you'll get all that information. You don't put that into the other CRM, but it is still available for you to check out. And then once you get on the phone, that's when you're just, hey John, or hey, this is Dolores I'm looking at right now, Dolores Mackey. And that's not even a joke. Dolores, hey Dolores, this is Andre. I'm with Integrity Marketing Group. I'm just getting back to you on that request you had sent in over the weekend. You were looking to get some information about the life insurance programs. I got here, you put your beneficiary as Vernell and Javon. Is that correct? Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, yeah, yeah. Favorite vegetable was this, or green beans? Yep, yeah, that's me. Okay, and then just kind of going from there. Um, Also, I have waited until Monday to call them. I would say a very important thing is getting to these people as fast as you can. I mean, I've already talked to a person today who who said, "Oh, I got that taken care of," or I talked to my daughter and I got it taken care of. So, if you get some leads in over the weekend, don't be scared to call them because they're on their phone, they're doing it. So I would do it. I personally didn't do it this weekend, but and I've been pretty consistent on just calling them the following Monday because they'll come in Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Um, but if you don't call them, you might have a couple in there that you could have gotten to that might have gotten away, but ain't the end of the world. Um,
So a
and then
couple of things I want to just touch on here. So for a bunch of you guys on here, whatever leads you're getting, working virtually, here's what I want you guys to hear because Andre just had a bunch of good stuff. I just want to make sure that you guys caught it. So number one, spending about $900 a week in leads. If you're gonna be virtual, you kind of gotta pay for virtual. Like you're not spending money in gas. You're not driving all over town. You're not doing 8 appointments all over town, driving 100 miles throughout the day. So, not to say you have to, there's no rule out there that says you got to spend $900 a week. But if you are spending $900 a week, the other thing I want you guys to hear is last week he had 50 leads, or he got, bought 50 leads, and he closed 6 sales. And maybe those six were from that 50, but also the ones from before as well, right? We'll talk about that. Like, what are you doing as far as follow up? How long are you going to keep calling these people? That kind of thing.
Mhm.
I have an idea, but so he made 6 sales, and here let's. I know you rattled off the numbers really quick, but you said like tell me the premiums on the six that you did real quick.
I know I've had like a 8,000, 8K week. I've had a 10,000 week. Let's see, last week. Let's see, 50 plus 100 plus 168 plus 81 plus 77. So about 476 a month
Okay,
times.
so Andre, and let's just say that this is average. Okay, you're gonna better like he said. He's had $8,000 weeks, $10,000 weeks off these leads. Let's say that the average is this. It's $5,700 in premium. Okay, the point I'm trying to make for a bunch of us on here is there's a lot of us, and I mentioned this a couple weeks ago, but we're trying to squeeze $10,000 of premium out of $200 worth of leads. Okay, or we're trying to squeeze $10,000 worth of premium out of $500 worth of leads. And even if you're like really, really, really good, like if you're a pro, if you're like Mark Hutchison, you could probably do it. Okay, like you could probably spend $500 on leads and squeeze out, 10,000 in premium, but that's a 20x, okay, of what you spent to what you get back. If you look at this, like what's 5,700 divided by, he spent 900. Okay. So for every dollar Andre is spending in leads, and let's just say this is the average. Okay. Sounds like this might have even been a little bit of a lower week for Andre. But let's just say, hey, you're not as good as Andre. You're just getting started. Okay, every dollar he's spent in leads, he's writing $6.34, round ups, call it $6.35 a premium. Okay. For every dollar he spends in leads. So if he spends $1,000, that number would be 6,300. Okay, it's 900, 5,700. So the point I'm trying to make is that like a lot of us are trying to squeeze $10,000 of premium out of $500 worth of leads when really, you're going to be happier. You're going to have an easier time of it if you're just willing to spend a little bit more on the leads and, go get the easy six ones that are wanting to get this set up. Like what I've noticed, and Andre, we can talk through this, but what I've noticed with these leads is a lot of these people, like they know it's life insurance. A lot of them are just kind of ready to get it set up. One of the things I like about these leads is they're generally like a final expense type lead, but the people are a little bit younger. So you can write a bunch of IULEs, a bunch of other stuff. Okay. Whereas some of the other lead types that we have out there that are great, these people are young and then you got to get them, you got to sell them term and nothing wrong with selling term. But I like that these are final expense. And then you can kind of like, let me give you an example, Andre. So I had one of them. This is a little while back when we were ordering in like February, March, April. This lady, she calls me, or I call her, and she's got like $50,000 of like Colonial Penn or one of these companies that really, really, really stinks. She goes, "Hey, I really just wanted to get 100,000, so I'm just looking to add another 50 to it." And she was paying like 200-300 bucks a month for that 50,000 that she had. I was able to get her that 100,000 with Mutual of Omaha approved on the spot, and it was like 350 bucks a month. So like my point being, they're ready to get it set up. You can kind of crush the competition out there of what they're already getting marketed to and all that kind of stuff. What most of the other agents are selling them, you could probably crush a lot of that stuff too. And they're really good leads. So point number one, you got to be spending enough on leads. Andre is obviously spending enough, on leads doing this. In fact, if you look at the past month, okay, if he spent $900 a week every single week, okay, that's $3,600, but he's written 24,000 in premium. Okay, I just wanted you guys to be able to hear that. Um, yeah, that's I wanted you guys to be able to hear that part. Um, what do you, Andre? So I know you said your schedule's a little bit crazy when you're calling these leads, or just hey, it's not like in person where like hey, there's a clearly defined dial day and then a clearly defined appointment day. You did mention you're trying to one call, you're going for a one call close on these people. What is, when do you start dialing? When do you stop dialing? Are you double dialing? Are you triple dialing? Like, what are you doing right there?
Yeah. So as far as the dialing goes, yeah, like you said, I'm trying to get it done in one call. So, I have all the leads in the L2C system, and I mean, I'm just going through them. Obviously, the newer ones are going to be at the top. So if they're newer, they just sent it, and I'm calling them first. But
Are you triple
really,
dialing?
yeah, three. So I'm calling them three times. And then depending on, because I'll have some overflow from the week before and so on. So, I may have called them already on three or four different occasions, three times. So I think around that point, after I've tried them on my personal phone number, three times, right? Then I have a Google Voice that's also linked to my email. So then I'll call back through them on that number, three or four different occasions. So I mean, I'm calling that person on, six, seven different occasions. And I can't really say I'll ever give up on it, but you're always going to have new stuff. So at some point they kind of just fade away because, you got 50 new ones and then you got the ones from last week. So, and the week before. So they kind of fall down the line. But uh, as far as I know, some people have asked, do you leave messages? Do you leave voicemails or shoot them a text? I have a text that I send. For me, I haven't really gotten too many responses from it. I don't know if it's too detailed or what it would be. I've just been playing around with it. But it's more so because I've had people who will answer the phone and then I'll say, "Hey, this is Andre. I'm getting back to you on that request. you put so and so as a beneficiary, they'd be like, oh, no, 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 I'm fine. I don't want it anymore. And then and hang up, and it's like, all right, well, at this point, if I call them back, I can, but they're going to be like, no, I'm fine. Like I really don't need it if they even answer. So at that point, I'll say, hey, this is why I just called you. And for me, the way I've done it is I put everything that they filled in on the ad on Facebook, everything that they filled in, name, phone or not phone number, name, beneficiary, height, weight, smoker, non-smoker, are they diabetic, and favorite vegetable. I put all that in there. Hey, give me a call whenever you get a chance.
Nice.
Um, and
I
I throw that in there just as like a Hail Mary, because at that point they already hung up on me. They're not going to answer because they're like, I'm good, I don't need it. So what were you going to say?
I was just gonna say, I would say, texting these people is not a bad idea, for sure. Keep calling them. You know what I mean? Like you call through these people, they don't answer. If they answer and like, oh, I'm good, hey, shoot them a text. Like Andre said, you have nothing to lose. Would you be down to go through just like your script of just like what are you saying on the phone to these people? Because I know it's a lot of people's question, and I will tell you guys that we're working on. We like these leads. They're scalable. They're good. They're duplicatable. It's repeatable. They're good leads. A lot of these people are the average premium is a little bit higher. They're really good leads. So we're going to start building out a lot of different things, centered around these leads, just get everybody up and running on them. But yeah, go through your script. Like pretend you're calling me. I'm one of the leads, and just so everybody can hear it.
Mhm. So yeah, calling, ring ring.
Oh,
Hey Nick, this is Andre with Integrity Marketing Group. I'm getting back to you on that request you had sent in over the weekend. Looking to get some information about the life insurance programs. Looks like here you put Vernell as the beneficiary. Favorite vegetable was green beans.
I do love green beans. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of green beans, but yeah, to each their own. But yeah, man. Well, I had like I said, I had gotten assigned as the case manager for you. I'm with Integrity Marketing Group, so my job's really just to, answer any questions you might have on this. Looks like you put your date of birth 11/20 '59. Is that right?
Yep, that's my birthday.
And then looks like here we got the height 5'5", weight 154. Sound about right?
Yep,
Mhm.
built like a truck.
Yeah, just a bit. Well, hey, I partner with just about every insurance company out there. So realistically, like I said, I'm here to help you out. What really had you looking around when you filled this in?
I just wanted to make sure that my wife was taken care of,
Mhm.
and my cousin just died, and he didn't have nothing.
Yeah.
So, I don't want to be like him. We all had to pitch in. We had to sell cookies. It was a
Oh,
nightmare.
did you guys have to do a GoFundMe?
No, we just had to sell lots of cookies.
Cookies. Well, somebody knows how to bake, I guess. Um, well, hey man, realistically, if you're just looking to make sure you got, something in place for your wife, there's plenty of options out there. I see here you did put that you smoke, you don't have diabetes though. Do you got any plans on quitting smoking?
No, no, I'm too old for that. I ain't quitting nothing. It's the only good thing left in my life.
Okay, okay. Well, hey, I feel you, man. To each their own. Nothing wrong with that. Um, do you have anything in place right now?
Yeah, I got a little policy with Colonial Penn for 10,000, and my
Okay.
wife got one for 10,000.
Mhm. How long have you guys had it?
Just got it.
Just got it. Okay. And what would you say you guys are paying between the two of you on that?
Uh, we're paying about $50 a month each.
It is, okay, it's about $100 a month. Well, I know that we can definitely help you out there. Um, how'd you end up coming across Colonial Penn?
And I saw him on TV, and I just called him up. Alec Trebek told me I should get some.
Did they tell you they put you on a 2-year wait?
No, no.
Uh-oh.
What do you mean by that? So let me pause right here. So here's what I want you guys to get. Like Andre kind of has it down. Like he knows what he's gonna say. He asked them a lot of questions, and I know we've got some different like frameworks out there of like, hey, when you're selling virtually, hey, you want to find out why, what motivated him to reach out, what other coverage do they have in place, and like notice like he's going through all these things. Okay, like he's going through it, he's asking questions, working on, building the why, seeing what else they have in place. And go back to the intro real quick. I just want people to hear that because I feel like for a lot of new people, like that first 30 seconds is really, really critical. And that's where you kind of lose them, get them, you either get them or not. You know what I mean? So uh, just do that intro again real quick.
All right, so ring ring.
Hello?
Hey Nick, this is on. Well, actually, sometimes I'll say just like when they answer, "Hello, Nick." Hey Nick, and
Yeah.
they'll be like, "Oh, yeah, like hey, oh, hey Nick, this is Andre. I'm with Integrity Marketing Group. Just getting back to you on that request you had sent in over the weekend. You were looking to get some information about the life insurance programs for your age group. I gotten assigned as a case manager. Looks like here you had put Vernell as the beneficiary. Favorite vegetables, green beans.
Yep.
So I just try to throw, one or two things out there as soon as possible to just validate that they did send something in. That vegetable is the easiest one to go about it because it kind of stands out the most. Like it's so random that it's like, oh yeah, 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 I do remember that. You
You'll
know,
have people that are like, oh man, I don't know. And you're like, yeah, man, it's the one where you put your favorite vegetable and you put cucumber. And they're like, oh yeah, I do
yeah.
like cucumbers, you
Because like
know?
some, I've even said the beneficiary, they're like, nope, nope, no, I didn't, no, I didn't, I don't know, like, and I'm like, okay. And they've even hung up. And I did have one guy actually somewhat recently respond to the text. And when I sent him all the information in the vegetable, he was like, oh, he responded in the text, I'm so sorry, blah, blah, blah. I just, so many people call and yada, yada. So, you never know. But yeah, I'm throwing two things out there and I feel like those are the two easiest ones, the beneficiary and the green beans. Sometimes randomly you'll get different verification questions on here. It'll be like, do they have a primary care physician, or there'll be some other questions that are on there. But as the conversation goes on, I end up hitting all of them. So it's not like, I'm not going to try to throw all of them out there in the very beginning. But I said the beneficiary and the favorite vegetable. Then we talked. Okay, what got you filling it in? Oh well, so and so passed away. I don't have anything. Oh, okay. Well, have you ever had anything at all? No, I never had anything. Or okay, did you have anything through work? Well, yeah, but they tried to convert it and it got so expensive that I left it. I didn't want to take it. You find all that stuff on, and then it's like, okay, so what exactly? I see here you put 15 to 25,000. What made you fall on that amount? you know, oh, well, I just thought that that was a good amount, like, and they'll just throw something out there majority of the time. Oh, well, I so and so when I buried my mom, it was $20,000 or whatever the reasoning is. And then that, okay, so now I know that that's why they want that amount. And so from that point, um, on the CRM, there is a quoting tool. It's not like the one that we have that you put in all the prescriptions and so on. I just use it strictly for prices because it has everyone on there that we have. Uh, so as they're talking, as we're going back and forth, I mean, pretty much as soon as I realize that they're invested in the conversation, I'm putting in their date of birth and seeing, okay, who's coming up. If anybody's focused on that bonus, I'm scrolling down to AIG immediately and just seeing, what it is. It's usually, I know we like Mutual of Omaha. It's usually like 7 to like $15 more, depending on their age, than Mutual of Omaha. So, uh, going there, seeing how much it is, finding out, okay, well, why did you settle on this amount? Sometimes I know with AIG, like if they're younger, they can't get more coverage. Like it'll block them off at 20 or 25,000 or so, where they can't get the full. What do they go up to? 35, I think.
Yeah, I think
Depending.
they go up to 35.
So, but now, okay, I know that how much coverage they want. I know why they want it. Hey, looks like you put here that you're a smoker, but you don't have diabetes. And then when we were kind of role playing, do you plan on quitting smoking? Because if somebody smokes, you could get them Americo if their health is good, and then you can just kind of sell them on the fact that They get the non-smoking rates for, the first 3 years. If somebody seems genuine about, wanting to quit, then, that's probably going to be the best option for them. But nonetheless, getting their health information, whether they're diabetic or not, and whatever their conditions are, I find out the major things: heart attack, strokes, COPD, cancer, obviously diabetes is one of them. Any, HIV, stuff like that. Um, and getting that information and kind of going from there. So I have the arc will be up. I'll have three tabs pretty much. I got the CRM, I have where the leads come in, and I have the arc pulled up. If you're, newer, all you got to do when you go to the arc, if you go to resources, you can go to and you can just have the grid on a tab as well. So that when you're talking to these people and they say they have, something or they got a stent or a defibrillator put in, you can just go in there, scroll down and see what's, what companies will take this person and then kind of go from there. So now it's like, okay, well, we've narrowed it down to the companies that'll accept them. It's only Royal Neighbors, Transamerica, and CVS. So the CRM will have or those companies all on their standard, preferred, so on and so forth. It'll have all the options with all those companies. And then you just, you tell them the price and kind of go from there.
So
And I
have
actually
you,
talked.
sorry, dude, I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead. Tell them the price.
Well, I was just gonna say, I was talking recently with someone, and I know some people like to give, three options. We got option A, B, C, or gold, silver, bronze, whatever you want to do. Which one sounds better for you? And I think if you're listening to, your client, I know actually Hutch had told me this because I used to give options as well. But I don't, the way he explained it was more so like it's getting too like logical for them, right? Like just give them some guidance, tell them where they need to go based on what they've already told you. So I don't give three options, whatever they said. If they said they want 15, 20,000, that's what I'm looking at. And if I say, oh, it's only this much, oh man, and you kind of hype it up. I won't say hype it up, but you kind of like, oh man, actually it's pretty affordable for you. In their head, they're like, oh shoot, actually I can do that. Like, well, what's 15? What's 20? What can I do 10 more thousand? And then they tell you. So it's like you just listen for that. And if they seem like, that they can do more and they're comfortable with it, then you just kind of go from there.
Yeah.
Or vice versa. If you say, oh, it's, $70 a month, and they're like, they're kind of pausing,
Oh, yeah. You're
you
like,
know,
is that in the budget? Or they're like, it's a little
and they
bit out
start
of the budget.
or
Yeah.
they start thinking about, oh, I need to talk to so and so. And it's like, no, you don't. It's too expensive. So let's bring it down. Like, and I've had people who've been like 1 foot out the door and you're just like, well, hey, look, I don't want to put you in a bad spot. If this is too much, I want it to be something that you have. You can always change it, down the line. And then just lower the coverage. And they're completely fine with it. They didn't need to talk to anyone. It just was too expensive, and you just kind of adjust from there.
Yeah.
So
And have you been tracking your dials? Have you been tracking like your dials, like good conversations, or maybe you can even call that an appointment, really. The lines are a little bit blurred when you're one call closing these people, but like, what do those numbers look like for you if you've been tracking them? Have you been tracking some of those?
yeah. Um, so like, yeah, man, I really didn't even, let's see. So last week, just for example, so like Monday, 100 dials, uh, 15 contacts, 4 appointments, 2 sits, 1 app. Um, and sometimes the appointment sits and apps, they don't necessarily like directly correlate because I might some of the sits that I have might have just been from somebody I got on the phone and it was a one call. It was like, okay, oh, they
Right.
had the time ready to talk. Now, whether they decided to go with it or not is different, but it was a sit, it wasn't an appointment. So that's how I'm putting it. If I get somebody on the phone for the first time, it's not an appointment, but I did sit them.
Yeah.
Um,
It's
the
almost
next
like you could almost see it as like if you get them to the point that, you get their health information, you know what I mean, if you get, the Y, other coverage, all these other things, and you get to their health information, I would almost consider that a sit, just about. You know what I mean? And you'll have some of those, like you're going for a one call close where it's like, hey, you get all their health information, you find out what the best option is, and you just go for it. And the worst thing that can happen in some of those is, okay, maybe they tell you no, like, hey, I'm just not paying that or whatever, not interested, not important to me, whatever. Or, worst thing too is like maybe they just go to a two call close. Yeah, like, hey, Andre, like I ain't got time for this right now, man. I'm at the store right now. I'm at the VA hospital. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. I got to roll. Okay, great. Well, could I give you a call? When tomorrow do you have some time where we can finish this up and get this all taken care of for you? Okay, it turns into a two call close. But okay, 100 dials, talked to 15, really sat with like four of them, right? Had or what was it? Four.
It's two sits, one app, and 4 appointments.
Okay, so two sets, one app, and here's what you guys got to realize is like an app a day, if you can put in one app a day, things will turn around very, very quickly for you. Okay. And you'll get to the point too where, hey, maybe it's two or three apps, what I mean, on Tuesday or whatever. Like if you put just average one a day, and then you'll have some days where just like everybody's buying life insurance. You're like, I'm the
Mhm.
best thing ever I'm the best salesperson ever. And then you have another day where like ain't nobody buying life insurance.
Yeah.
I like it is all good. The point being is that, these leads are good. If you work them and you dial them, like these are people that are ready to buy life insurance. Okay. Yeah, they're $18 a lead. Yeah, you got to buy 50 of them at a time. It comes up to $900. You got to have 10 states. Like that's just part of the price that you pay, for being virtual. And this is a solid lead source. It's scalable. We can get lots of people doing it. We're going to build out more and more training specifically around these, just because we know that they're good and the results kind of speak for themselves. And so, Andre, we got a couple of questions in here. If you're cool to hang for a few and answer some of these. So, are you using the power dialer on the lead to client?
I've messed with the wave dialer like twice, and I think it's good. The only thing that, like, for me, the reason didn't use it was because I just felt like it didn't really make sense, because the point of it is to blast through a bunch of different people, like really fast. But it's like there's no way to like control when you sell someone, or if you had a bad conversation, or if somebody wasn't interested, where they fall in that dial session. So it's like if I put it on, it just automatically it calls one person, then it goes to the next, it calls them, and so on and so forth. But I'm like, well, if I have somebody in there that I already sold, or somebody in there that wasn't interested or hung up on it, or whatever the case is, um, it just didn't make sense, because I would have to go click on the notes anyway, read what happened, and then I'm kind of slowing it down regardless. So I'm like, well, for me, I would rather just call, click it, check the notes, see what happened. Okay, I didn't get them on the line, call them, and so on and so forth. So no, I didn't use it, but I know it's like $59 or something like that for the dialer that comes with the L2C.
Yeah, and
So
I'll tell you guys this too. Like we're absolutely nowhere near this, but in the future, we're kind of messing around with the idea because a lot of us use that system. A lot of us use that same platform and have our own that's not lead to client in there, kind of built in and whatever. We're not there yet. We're nowhere near this, so don't hold me to this on as far as dates and stuff. But if we keep using the lead to client leads, or excuse me, the vertical leads, we might end up building out something that's a little bit more of our own, where it can be a little bit more cost effective for people. We're not there yet. In fact, we're a long ways away from that, but it's an idea that we're kind of toying with. As far as having a CRM and then maybe building in some automations and some cool stuff like that. Geared towards these leads in the future. The bottom line is like we like these. You know what I mean? They're really, really good. And Andre's, kicking ass with these. And he's not the only one. Mallory's writing business. Like, we got a bunch of people writing business, from these vertical leads. I just put it in order, for myself and training somebody new on them, just because they're solid leads. Like these people are going to buy life insurance. If you can just close 5%, or excuse me, 10%, 5 out of 50, okay. And if the average premium, is $100 a month, if you look at Andres, right there, just under, $100 a month, right? six sales, 5,700. So, whatever that is, $80 a month or 80, $77 a month or whatever is his average premium for just that week. If we were to take all of them, it's probably a little bit higher. It's a viable option, and it gets everybody spending a little bit more on leads. Okay, and I know some of you guys, you hear $900 a week and you start to hyperventilate. Like, I get that, I've been there. But your life is just easier. You know what I mean? You're just buying more income, you're buying more premium, and you're getting easier sales in there rather than trying to squeeze $10,000 worth of premium out of $500 worth of leads. And again, like, you could do it. Some of you guys are absolutely good enough where like you could go do that, but you're making a lot of calls. You know what I mean? You're making a lot of calls. You're doing a lot of extra work that could be a little bit easier. Go ahead, Andre.
And I will say, like, just, and it's not not that I don't work hard. I mean, I definitely work hard, but it's like it's not that like time consuming. Like if you break it down, if you want to say as scheduled as it gets for me is like power hour. Like I'm not answering emails, I'm not answering anybody else's calls, I'm not looking at social media. It's 1 hour just calling, right? And that's it. And if you want to go and for me and go walk around the block with my dog for a second after that, or whatever, go make a snack, stand up, walk around for a second, whatever it is, but it's an hour of, just calling. And that's it. If I get someone on the phone and the conversation was 30 minutes, then that's half my time right there. And then, the rest is not just calling, whatever. I might sit with somebody the entire time. It doesn't really matter. But that would be a big thing for me is where I do just say, okay, I'm not moving. It's 11:38 right now. I'm not getting up, going to the bathroom. I'm not doing anything for an hour until, it's 12:38 and then I'm done. And well, not done, but, I can go on. And cycle back through them, find whatever you kind of play with it yourself. But if let's just say I have last week's order and this week's order, right? 50 and 50. So I got 100 leads. Obviously last week I've already called through everybody and I got all 50 now, right? So I'm calling through them. So I might on Monday in the whole day, I think last Monday from what I remember, since I had 100 dials, but that's three times each, right? So you're really, I think I only got through about half of the 50 on last Monday. So what I did come Tuesday was I dialed the second half first, right? Because those were the ones that I hadn't gotten to, so they were new. I hadn't called them yet. Dialed through the second half, right? And then called, again the first half that I didn't get a hold of or whatever. And once you start cycling through them, it goes faster because you had people tell you no, you had people that you might have sold, you had people that just didn't answer or wrong numbers, straight to voicemail, whatever it is. So it goes faster, but you're just making sure that you're calling them back. And after 3 or 4 attempts of calling them, I switch up the phone number. Call them on Google Voice. Now it's like for me, it's like sometimes I feel weird. All right, well, I already called them 3 different occasions. I call them 9 times. They recognize this number at this point. So call them on Google Voice. Now it's like a reset. They don't know who that is. They don't know that it's just me creeping on the other end again.
It's a totally different person.
It's the
Uh,
new state.
100. Yeah, 100%, man. A couple of questions on here before we wrap up. I don't want to keep everybody on here too long, but this is really good stuff, man. And I appreciate you for taking time out of your day. You could be making dials, you could be putting in policies right now, and you're sharing. So I appreciate you big time for that. And a couple of quick questions: are you doing the ERS and getting referrals from the virtual sales?
Yeah. Sometimes I forget sometimes, but I do it and I just write it down. Like I literally have them right here. So like I just write them down. I'm not getting a full thing. I know there's probably people who are better at the ERS than I am, but I don't use the whole sheet. It's like I'll get pretty much what I'm seeing is I'll get the beneficiaries information. They'll generally give me that and maybe one or two other people. I probably get two or three, but if you got 5 apps, 6 apps last week and you got two or two people from each of them, right? That's 12 people to call
Yep.
week. So yeah, I try to make sure and I don't rush off the phone at the end and actually get that filled in. For that, I just, hey, look, there's billions of dollars that go every year that are unclaimed. Just because people or family members don't know that their loved one has a policy, and if something happens to you unexpectedly, we want to make sure that everybody's in the loop. So, is there anybody you would want me to know, or would you would want to know that you have this policy? I call them. I just go over who I am and that you do have a policy. I don't go over any personal information or anything like that, or any information on the policy. And then they just, is there anybody you want me to call? And that's it.
That's good. And I know different people do it different. Like I personally, I'm terrible about getting referrals right then and there when I'm selling virtually. But what I am good at is reaching back out to those people 3 months later, 6 months later, a year later, and just rekindling that conversation. Hey, just wanted to do a policy review with you, touch and base, like they want to hear from you. And then I'm asking about, annuity money. Hey, by the way, Cheryl, what do you have set up for retirement? Like we're helping a lot of people with that right now. What do you have set up for retirement? Or whatever the case is. So everybody does a little bit different. I like the way that you do that, Andre. I think that's really, really good, and a lot of people can implement that. Um, Last question here is, what times of the day are you finding the most success for the dials?
I'd probably say afternoons if I'm being honest.
Yeah,
Um, and I'm in, not that I'm central time, so it's not that there's too much of a difference for me either way, whether it's I'm talking to somebody in North Carolina or somebody on, Pacific, West Coast or whatever. But afternoons, I would say probably better, just because all the people, I just spoke to somebody who was 72 years old and he was like, I'm working. I was like, man, so you just never know.
yeah,
People are going to be done with work around, 5, 6. So at that point, you don't have as many people saying, oh, well, call me after work or whatever the excuse is.
yep.
Um, you'll definitely get people throughout the day, no doubt. But afternoon when it seems to open up a little bit.
Cool. Awesome. Well, I appreciate you, brother. Thank you guys all for hopping on here. And we're gonna do more and more like this. I want to get Andre on again for the virtual call because he's kicking ass and he's a lot of really really good stuff to share. But for time's sake, now it's time to stop learning and start dialing. So love y'all. Appreciate y'all, Andre. Thanks, man. I appreciate you. Anything else that you want to tell these guys before we send them off for the week?
No, I mean the only thing I say, I've jumped on with Brandon's team, and he's got, and it's people from all different teams. It's like Michelle Colin, a bunch of people from from Brandon's team, people Michelle's team, and it's just everybody on there dialing. Like Jerry Burbage is on there. So if you are on there, we're just all kind of muted, and then if you get somebody on the line and you start having a conversation, whoever it is, they'll unmute themselves and you can kind of hear their process and pick what you like, pick what you don't like, and it's a good thing to use. I wouldn't mind maybe even doing something like that on our own.
I think it's
Just
a great
have
idea.
nothing. You don't have to get on. It's just available. It's open if you want
Yeah,
to get on. Jump off, jump off. But I do like getting on there and just being there.
cool. Awesome. Well, yeah, we definitely need to set something like that up. And I think as we get more and more people doing this too, with the vertical leads, I think we'll be able to do that. So appreciate y'all. Appreciate you, Andre. You're a boss. And y'all, let's go kick some ass. Have a great week.